Alison, tell us, what are some of the most common mistakes that parents make when teaching their kids about money?
One of the biggest mistakes that parents make is trying to teach their kids too much. As adults, we have, most of us, hopefully, have a fairly fully formed idea of where money comes from and where it goes. And particularly when kids get into that sort of 8, 9, 10-year-old age group, we really want them to understand everything. We want them to understand about credit, and we want them to understand about interest rates. Well, a lot of kids aren't at that level yet. And sometimes kids have to be into their middle and even late teens. So I often find that I often say to parents, look, just sort of back off a little bit. Keep modeling good financial behavior, talking to your kids, demonstrating, and the lessons will eventually trickle down and they'll get it. But if you give them too much information, then often they just sort of zone out.
What are some simple tips for modeling behavior that parents should follow?
Well, there's two levels of things. One is the basic you're doing it anyway kind of behavior. So for example, with the younger kids in particular, when you're going to the store or you're depositing money at the ATM machine, you want to be telling your kids what you're doing and why you're doing it. You don't have to worry so much about the numbers or even things like, oh, is this the right change, or check your receipt. None of that kind of stuff for the younger kids. Simply things like, for example, when you go to the ATM machine, you say, I'm putting money in the bank so that I can take it out later. A little lesson like that goes a long way. You'd be amazed at how many kids don't understand that money comes from somewhere. They just assume that little piece of plastic, somehow the money is in the plastic. So those kinds of things are really, really helpful. Other things you can do for all ages is to give kids an indication of what you intend to buy and how much you intend to spend. So say, for example, you're going shoe shopping, or you're going to buy some running shoes for the kids for gym class or whatever, or some sport activity. Say, okay, let's take a look at how much this is going to cost. And then maybe do a little online search. Those kind of everyday behaviors are really, really important. The second level of things is the experiences that kids have themselves with their own money. And this is critical to teaching kids about money. They've got to be able to handle their own money and make mistakes. So part of this group of teaching is all about, okay, well, you've got $10, and what can you afford to buy with that? Or what would you like to buy with that? And how much are you going to save? And where are you going to save that money? All of those kinds of things teaches them about how to manage their own money. Something that's vastly overlooked. If you consider that in 18 years' time, the cost of a 4-year university degree is going to be something north of $100,000, it's a big figure. Mm-hmm. And that includes, of course, tuition, living expenses, books, and academic fees. And if kids are living away from home, it could be over $145,000. Well, for a lot of families, that's tough to save up that kind of money. But most kids by the age of 15 have got some kind of part-time income. And the minute those kids start to earn anything, get them to put a portion aside for their own spending, a portion aside for their own saving, i.e. saving for short or medium-term goals, and a portion to be devoted to their college or post-secondary education. Kids get this right away because, especially when they're in those tween years and the early teen years, they're starting to think about what they want to do when they grow up, and younger kids, of course, as well. And when you say, okay, you want to be a vet, well, it's going to cost a lot of money, so some of your money is going to go towards making that happen. They get that and they like it.